Call the meeting to order at 4:02 p.m. and check to see if we have any public comments. Anyone on the line? No? Okay. Maybe it'll come on later. Approval of the minutes. Okay, I'll second it. I don't think there were any corrections. Okay. So, Patty?
Yes, I'm over yonder.
Okay. My financial reports, please.
Okay. Yeah, today we have May warrants that total $41,877.96. The total for payroll is $18,283.95. That includes Chief Carlton's salary of $6,662.92 and Chief Shields' pay of $3,567.43. And there was one event for each of the commissioners and the board secretary. The total payout for the volunteers, warrants included, is $11,688. And the financial statements for April have been handed out for the board. So, requesting board's approval for the warrants and payroll for May. If you have any questions, let me know.
Do you have any questions? Okay. One chance a minute here. You're gonna explain some of the expenses.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll let that go for the moment. Then I move that we accept the warrants of $41,877.96 and a payroll of $18,283.95. Do you have any objection?
No, approved.
Okay. That will do that. So,
Yeah.
Yes. So the remaining 2024 budget as of April 30th, 2024, 69.90%, as compared to 73.43% as of 2023.
any questions? No. Okay.
I'll go ahead and expand out.
Correspondence?
No correspondence. I'll go back to and I'll expand out on the warrants.
Yeah.
On that, but we have no correspondence.
Okay. So, go ahead with your report.
Starting with the FARS assessment, that's a radio assessment that's paid out to the county. Do you have anything to add to that, Patty? The FARS?
Other than it's basically like annual.
Yeah, it's annual dues and it's radios. OMID has been demossing the station's roof. He's been doing a great job. So that's the roof demossing. Holiday Inn, the Mayday class, room and meals, 5,200. That was for our Mayday workshop. And the Mayday workshop was provided by an AFG grant of over $19,000 that we received. And then we received a few thousand on top of that to have more blue card positions for incident command. So we hosted the Holiday Inn at the Holiday Inn in Bellingham. We had 32 professionals from career departments and volunteer departments. I think we had a half a dozen that came in from the county. But Mayday, obviously I hosted that here last year as well. That was also through a private grant for the main part of the Mayday course. And then I was able to get an AFG grant last year. If you remember, I didn't get the radio grant, the 300,000+ for the radios, but they gave me $25,000 right around there for the Mayday class and the IC positions. So we put that on down this year down in Bellingham so we could have more people from our county benefit from it and receive that training. We also had organizations coming in from the lower mainland of Canada. The instructors came from Texas, Las Vegas, and from Olympia, retired battalion chief from Olympia, were the three instructors. The credit card, Blue Card Command System, that's our annual dues for those people that I have certified within this agency. Puget Sound Energy is self-explanatory. Whatcom Signs was for more deckling and also other things that were for name tags. I'm trying to think of the specifics. We'd have to get that invoice, but the Whatcom Signs is the person who does all of our deckling and names and everything else for the district. So if you want more specifics on that, I'm happy to produce that invoice directly. Northwest Chevrolet. So this is a big one. My car is having problems. So the Chevy Tahoe, the 2012, started having electrical issues, and I took it in. I got 4 new tires on it as well, but took it in, had some fluid exchanged on it, brake fluid, transmission fluid, all of that was redone. And then the electrical issues were looked at. And what I've been having is that my airbag for the passenger has been going malfunctioning, and also the StabiliTrak and the 4x4 system. Those were popping up on my informational center in the vehicle, and it was random times intermittently. I'd be going down the highway and my speedometer and my tachometer would both go to 0 as I'm doing 70 miles an hour going down I-5. And the car would start dinging. Then basically 5-10 seconds later, everything would come back on. And I'd keep driving. So there wasn't any problems with driving or the steering or anything like that. But I took it into Northwest Chevy. They diagnosed the issue. They replaced a sensor. And then 2 days later, I had the same problems. So I called Northwest Chevy back, took the vehicle back in, and they replaced 2 more sensors at no cost to the district. So they were very ethical about what they did, and they didn't charge us for my second time in, and the replacing of, I believe, 2 more sensors on that go around. I have not had any issues since then with the vehicle. The vehicle now has 170,000 miles on it. So I'm going to, my hopes is that I get through this year and into next year before I would start looking at potentially getting a newer vehicle.
As long as it's safe.
The issue is the expense we've had. We've, over the last 2-3 years, I think we're probably close to $10,000 to $15,000 into that vehicle.
It's safe.
So, yeah. So I'm hoping, obviously we need to acquire an AFG grant either for our radios or for the ambulance this year. And if we get one of those, then we can move into the other one, purchasing that. So if I get the ambulance grant, I can move in to purchase the radios out of capital reserves. If I get the radios, I can move into capital reserves to purchase an ambulance. Now there's also the ongoing, I can get into it in my chief's report, I guess, but the refurbishment of 858 as well. So I'll get there. Life Assist is medical supplies. So if you want more information on what Whatcom Signs did for us, I'm happy to provide that to you. But they're the ones that make all of our signs and decal our vehicles and do the kids' drawings and everything else for our rigs.
I think you have to find the.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, the Blue Card Command expense is for the course?
No, the blue card is our annual is our annual payment to sustain our licenses, to sustain us as a training center, and also train our individual members' licenses as incident commanders. That provides them access to the continuing education platform that they have to do on a yearly basis. Any questions? No, okay. And I'll follow up with the Whatcom Signs, just so you guys know. So I think there was multiple invoices that equaled that 1,300. So yeah, so there's a number of invoices that Say again?
I thought-
Like 4. So it wasn't 1,000, it wasn't 1,300 altogether. It was like 4 separate ones that equaled that,
Okay,
for Whatcom signs.
thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Well. I guess. Chief report. Yeah, your report.
Okay, Chief's report for May, for the month of April 2024. Speaking to Brian Snur, our legal counsel, last year, we wanted to put in HVAC systems, mini splits for the firefighters upstairs and also the clinic for better air conditioning or cooling and heating of those areas. And hopefully less expensive than what we're doing now with the wall heat that we have going on upstairs. But speaking to him, it was going to be a project under $50,000. And I believe I mentioned this last month as well. But I was instructed to contact 3 businesses that serve Whatcom County for the MRSC roster, and I still have to get you that. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot about that too. Just until now, I mentioned it, but so I contacted, I think 6 companies off of MRC rosters. Obviously, Angar had put in a estimate for that, which was around 39,000. I contacted them back. They didn't have any interest in putting together a full bid because they didn't believe it could go below 50,000 once they brought up their electricians and everything like that. So I went out to Blythe. I think there's Blythe Mechanical in Bellingham. And all of this is compiled, obviously, because it's an auditor issue. But Blythe was interested until I told him about the $50,000 ceiling for this type of small works project. They were no longer interested. They didn't believe they could do it under 50. They asked if I was going to go out to formal bid. And I said, depending on what other estimates I got back from the other companies I was contacting, would make that decision. So I contacted Airganic, which is out of Edmonds, and their owner, Gal, actually drove all the way up here and walked through the facility with Chief Shields, both the clinic and the upstairs, and he put in a final quote of 47,000 and change, 47,001 $1, I think. And that includes all work. That includes electricians, that includes their travel coming up here, everything else. So I sent that back to Brian. We formulated a contract off of that, sent that off to Gal. I'll be talking to his contract person hopefully tomorrow and finalize anything that needs to be done in that contract. And then at that point, it'll be signed and the work will be commissioned to Airganic, and we'll move forward. So within the next couple of weeks, potentially, if everything goes good, there could be a new HVAC mini split system in the clinic for heating and air conditioning for the patients over there. And then there's going to be a 3-head unit upstairs, 1 in the main area, 1 in each bedroom in the back for the firefighters. And hopefully this summer, if we're able to be successful at that, this summer will be much more comfortable for patients in the clinic and also the firefighters upstairs.
And are they able to start right away?
Yeah, so he would start right now. The dates in the contract are on or before May 20th and be done with everything by June 30th. And we just don't know what the county process to get the inspector up here would be and when they would be able to come up. So that's why it's extended out to June 30th. But I assume if we are successful at getting Airganic up here, that it'll be done by mid-June, if not before. Say again, I'm sorry. So maybe Mondays or Tuesday for the inspectors from the county. But they'll have to work that out, and Gal will most likely have to come back up when the inspectors are ready to do that. So he probably install it 1 week, have the inspectors come up the next week, and then finalize the project. But he's very nice. He was very professional. He was the only one that was interested, no Whatcom County, except Angar, but they weren't interested in coming back at that 50,000 ceiling. And, but no other companies that I contacted, even though they say they serve Whatcom County Fire District 5 on the MRSC roster, they don't serve Whatcom County Fire District 5.
Oh, you mean that? Well, you mean there's five.
Yeah, I asked, Barron Heating pulled out and they still have it on their MRSC roster that they serve Point Roberts. And so I asked them to remove that until they're going to come back up and serve the community.
They're not doing it for anybody.
No, but on their MRSC roster, for their benefit, they still say they serve Point Roberts businesses. So including specifically Whatcom County Fire District 5. So Chief's report, CERT, we have a CERT class going on right now. I think we have 17 or 18 that are going to be finishing up this. That has been sponsored by this district. And so that's going to really expand the amount of people we have available for our community emergency response team and activations during hot months, cold months, auto accidents, and anything else that we are using them for through this district. Hopefully we'll be able to have a nice exercise this summer. We do have the float haven coming in June, which is June 8th, I believe. Let me check. I think it's June 8th, and that's when the float planes come in and they land and they drop off the food here on our waterfront area down at Lighthouse Park. And to show that they would be able to assist us during a disaster, but it also helps beef up our food bank with supplies again. Yeah, the impact is what it's called for the exercise. And we've been doing that. It started here, actually, however many years ago. And it has expanded basically throughout the Sound area, Seattle, and over on the east side. And if my understanding is correct, there's 20 or 30 private planes that are involved in this entire exercise.
They just spread out.
Yeah, and we have multiple float planes.
Yeah.
One of the years they brought every plane into our grass runway, and we had 20 planes come in and out that day. The most important delivery was 30 pizzas for the team that was involved, because the CERT team, we have others outside the CERT team, that radio handlers, ham radio operators that come in to do that day. It's a big day for us. It's a big day. My issue is that I'm working down south on that day, so I won't be here. So Chief Shields will be in charge of that event. And then I'll be back up hopefully on the 9th before the teams that I have not met that are part of this from the Seattle area before they leave.
They're supposed to stay overnight.
Yeah, at the camping area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that I can get up here by 9 in order to see them and meet them and see how the event went. So
the out-of-town teams are comprised of, are they not more certain?
no, we actually have the DEMs involved. So I think county DEM is going to be involved in this year.
Yeah.
Department of Emergency Management. So they're going to be involved. The state at different levels is going to be involved as well. So Sky, who's in charge of all this, he's done an incredible job with getting the donations. I mean, we're going to have thousands and thousands of dollars of donations in food and everything. We usually get 400 to 800 pounds of food dropped off to us here.
I think we're gonna get quite that much this time.
Yeah, but on average, it's been about 400. The first year we had 800, but it's dwindled down since then. But
They had no one scheduled to give us any a couple of months ago, and then all of a sudden, I think he's gotten a couple of people. So
yeah, so Fred Meyer, they were doing a big Fred Meyer push in Bellingham the other day, and it's just a good event. So I think, the Department of Emergency Management, counties DEM, state DEM understands is starting to recognize, with all the red tape, they're starting to recognize that volunteer pilots are going to be crucial during a natural disaster to get to areas, because the state does not have the resources to do so. So they're going to have to work together on that. CP 58 is now in service. So community paramedic CP 58. Chief 58, I put down issues for me was the electrical problem that I had with the rig. We're staying consistent. We got 44 members, 29 Canadian, 12 Point Roberts, 3 county. 3 paramedics on staff, 9 EMTs. I just had one of my EMT students just passed his national registry, and his state application will be going in preferably tomorrow if I get it off in the mail. So hopefully he'll be certified as a state EMT coming in the next couple weeks. We'll have another Zane Yasan is the member who was successful at that. We still have Kate Gray and Rebecca Goodwin and Trent Beyont will be taking their EMT national red. Trent will be taking it as national, but Kate and Rebecca are still in school. So move through that. Volunteer hours for the month of April, 2,470. Volunteer payroll, 12,600. Combined chief hours, myself, 161.5, Chief Shields, 106.5, total of 268. Hours, incidents, we had 31 total. In the month of April, we had 10 EMS calls. We had 1 transport by our agency to St. Joe's. We had 8 no transports, and we had 1 rendezvous with county medic unit. We had 11 home care visits, and we had 3 public service. Fire classifications, we had 7. We had 2 permitted burns. We had 1 smoke investigation. We had 3 false alarms, and we had 1 animal rescue. So I think most people saw that. We rescued an eagle that was on the beach and had a broken wing. We were contacted by a private citizen, and within 15 minutes, we had that eagle captured and being transported in our ambulance to the border to meet up with Paws, which is the raptor. Is it Paws?
Ow.
Oh, Al, sorry. Al, which is a raptor. How would you describe that? Rehabilitation, and it's a raptor rehabilitation center. And they'll release those that can be released. Sometimes they have to euthanize, and others they'll keep for educational purposes to the public. I have not followed up with them. I do know that the eagle's wing, since it had been out there for 3 days, basically, the eagle's wing had died. They did tell me that, so they weren't able to mend the wing, but I don't know. Is it next door? I don't know if the eagle was euthanized or not, or if it was able to be transferred to another rehab center that wouldn't mind having a raptor that couldn't fly. A lesson learned with that, for our perspective, is the sooner you call us, the sooner we're able to get there and help rescue the animal. We've rescued a deer from a 12-foot hole. If you guys remember that, it was a perk hole, and we put our ladder down into the hole. I went and basically laid on the deer, and then we got rope underneath it, and we lifted it up, back out. Then it ran off, and it bumped into a passing car as it ran off, but it was okay. It still ran from that point. It still ran, so we believe the deer was fine after hitting the car that was going slowly past our scene. But we'll help with anything possible that we can. You know, when it gets into unhappy raccoons, coyotes, those types of things, that may be a different challenge for us, but we'll help with anything we possibly can. And we'll always do our best for our community. So please call 911. I know a bunch of people had tried to capture this eagle over those 3 days, and they were unsuccessful. And then we finally got the call and had it captured within 15 minutes. So the sooner we can get them to a rehab, the better for any broken bones and for the animal itself.
Do a little bit of advertisement about what the fire department does besides humans.
So we do things beyond other fire departments as well. And it's just because of the geographical challenges we have for
Maybe not think about it.
Department of Wildlife had no interest in coming over the border to look at a injured eagle. They were contacted on numerous occasions. And Whatcom County Animal Control, they wanted nothing to do with the eagle as well. And I know some of the organizations here tried to go out and capture the eagle. But please just give us a call. I'll do my best to publish it in my fireside chats in the future.
Mhm.
I did publish it on Nextdoor. I published it on our Facebook account, I believe. Where else was it published? I think those are the 2 big areas that were published, and got some good feedback from people on that. And we got called out for another eagle rescue yesterday or the day before, 2 days ago. They're fighting right now, I guess, and
Maybe season.
they're coming very close to the ground, and some are hitting the ground pretty hard as they release. But this bird was next to the house. Chief Shields was headed down there. Our members were dispatched out, and by the time we got there, it had flown off. So it was a good ending to that potential rescue. But I was going to have to change our badge or our patch and put an eagle on it if we were going to go successful with that rescue in Maple Beach. But I'm happy to, I'm happy to extend whatever we can in times of need for not only humans, but also animals, if we're able to help and stuff. So please don't hesitate to call and pass that on to your friends and everybody that's in the community, that we are here for those reasons too, and we'll help. Okay. So that's ends my chief's report for May for the month of April 2024. Chief Shields, do you have anything to add? Any questions?
No,
Uh,
I don't think we have any unfinished business. Where are we?
We have Bill Zidell is on now.
Oh, Bill, you want to say anything?
No, I just, I want to make sure the chief got my envelope because I had my physical yesterday. So all the documentation and plus I think the photos you were looking at, the photos of passports and stuff, I put it all. If I'm missing something, let me know, okay?
Okay, Chief Shields has it. I did not, but Chief Shields is in possession of it.
All right. And yeah, everything's fine. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just curious if my apparatus has a number to it. So, maybe I'll feel important then or something.
It does. So just to remind everybody, Bill from New Jersey, he is our driver right now for CP 58. So it's Charlie Papa 58.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So CP 58.
Okay, Charlie Papa 5'8".
Yeah.
Charlie Papa 5'8", no big deal. There you go. I'll have to get a jacket with that on it. So,
So I'm feeling like I'm being pressured into buying him some uniforms and
No, everything's good. Everything's good. Everything is good. I'm just gonna get an outfit like Ralph Cramden and everything will be fine.
Hey, you asked for a van that had cup holders, and I made sure you had a lot of cup holders. So
That's great.
all right. So
Thanks, Chief.
absolutely. So thanks to Bill. He's our primary driver right now. We're hoping to get 2 or 3 more drivers that can rotate time in case somebody does need to come back from the hospital. Or I'll be talking to our supervising physician, Dr. McBain, and seeing if the CARES program, because I know that other community paramedic programs take people to doctor's appointments and to the hospital and stuff like that, and to see what type of expansions that we could do. So something to just an example would be somebody that would have a laceration on their hand or something like that that would need stitches, but they have no one to take them down to the hospital. If we can extend our services to get them to the hospital, it's a non-emergent situation. They don't have a medical complaint other than a laceration. And see if that's something we can expand to in the future. But right now, if anybody needs a ride home from the hospital that hasn't gone AMA, so that's very important that if we take someone to the hospital or they get down there somehow and they go against medical advice and they just leave, those are individuals that we may not be willing to pick up because they didn't follow the direction of the physician at the hospital at that point. We want people to stay there, get better, get well, get the diagnosis that they need, have the proper paperwork when they leave, and not go against medical advice. So
If you're taking someone down for an appointment, and they have to go to the hospital, you're not gonna stay down there while they're being seen at the hospital unless you can get them in and get them taken care of.
it depends. It depends. And right now I'm looking at a stipend of 75 to 100. I think we're set at 75 right now on the stipend for that period of time frame. So 3 hours to 4 hours. that period of time, and then making maybe if they're down there for 6 hours, because they do decide, let's say Bill wants to go do something while the person's at the hospital, and he can go do that and then come back and pick the person up. Do I expect Bill to sit in the ER with other sick people and get sick himself through respiratory and stuff like that? No, I do not expect that. But to come all the way back and then all the way back down and all the way back, I don't think makes sense. So it would be preferred that if they do go to the ER, that the driver would stay down there for that purpose, and then bring them back home when they're done. Yeah, if it's something that they're going to be admitted, then obviously the driver would come home.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody have any questions on that? No, so it's going slow. We still have documents to put together. And I'll be working with our legal counsel, Brian Snur, on those documents and formulating a good platform for hopefully this service to be successful.
Okay, then you have a question.
Yeah.
So earlier you said CP 58 is now in service. So are our trained drivers, who's driving it?
Yeah,
So and
he's
then-
gone through our EVIP course. He's already gone through. Yeah, so he's already trained. He's gone through the EVIP course. Bill, did you hit any animals while you're out there, small children or anything?
No, but Lynn is in therapy, so it's okay.
So the cone course, you had to go through the cone course in the minivan and all of that, and go through the EVIP course, which our EVIP instructor took him through that. So all that's documented, and that was part of the obligation we had for our insurance provider, our ESIP, McNeil and Company, wanted to make sure that was accomplished prior to anybody doing that. So the van is covered. Bill is ready to roll. So if we need him, I can get a hold of him and go from there. He just got his medical done, and he has his driving abstract in, his passport, all of that. Yeah. So it's not a fly-by-night, program. It's formalized, and we hope that it grows into something that can, with cooperation of Circle of Care, because I need to work with Circle of Care as well and balance what Circle of Care may be doing for the public and balance what we're doing. So we're not competing on that, but we're trying to benefit as many people as possible through the two programs that are going to be offered here. So. Okay.
Okay, any other unfinished business? Okay, let's move to new business.
I have a question, Chief. I was approached by a person in Canada who would like to be a recruit, and I really didn't understand how to do that.
Sure. Best thing is to send me an email. We require them, unless they're a dual citizen, we require them to have their 1001. So their firefighter training has to be complete. So they have to bring their certifications. I won't hire someone that doesn't have their certifications unless they're a US citizen that's coming out of this community. Then I'll send them to fire school. But other than that, the people who cross over the border have to have their 1001s before we will accept them into the agency. Their firefighter training. So just firefighter training. Best thing to do is for them to reach out to me. I can get them in contact with our hiring officer, right? And then they can explain the whole process. They're welcome to come down on Thursday nights to practice and sit in and start meeting people and go from there. But right now, I'll be having one starting up in fire school come June 1st, and they'll be starting up in Texas, and potentially a second US citizen who actually lives, where's Michelle's son live?
Yeah.
He lives in Surrey. He lives across the border. And he potentially will be starting around the same time. And so I'll have two more young members of our community training to be firefighters here. Obviously, they'll want to go career as well, but they'll be training initially to serve this community. That cost is $8,000. It's around $4,000 per person to send them to fire school. And the Texas is the best because they can do all their didactic, they can keep their job, they can do all their didactic online, and then they have to fly down to Texas for 2 weeks and do their psychomotor skill set. if they both start in June, that will put them down in Texas around September, October, which will be a lot cooler for them to go through drill ground activities versus in the blazing sun during the summer. One of the agreements is they pay for their plane ticket to go to Texas. So they have buy-in, and some type of ownership of what's being done and what's being offered for them. Yeah. And then they're under contract with the district for 2 years. So if they leave within that 2 years, it's a pro rata payback, to the community. Yeah.
Anything else? Anything from that side of the building? Yeah, that'd be the case of time, isn't it?
4:37.
Oh, 4:20.
Yeah, real quick, just to remind, I'm going to the Community Risk Reduction Conference down in Phoenix. I leave on Monday. It's a 3-day conference for community risk reduction, and I'm hoping to gain some really valuable information on ways that I can help this community be better educated for all types of emergencies. So, and that's a goal. But the conference is on the 14th, 15th, and 16th. So down in Phoenix. Yeah, so I leave Monday.
And then you would hold classes in the community?
Yep, so depending on the type of information I gain from that conference, obviously this summer we'll be ramping up our CPR training again. And hopefully be able to get, 100 people trained in CPR this summer. I have to do a CPR training for the new CERT team members as well. Maybe a trauma first response course through NAEMT.
I think that would.
And then hopefully an exercise this summer outside, beyond the impact exercise in June. Fall prevention. So Sarah Viant I'm putting her in charge of our community paramedic program. And so we're working on how best that she as an RN is going to be able to work into the system and what level of service is she going to be able to give as a community paramedic outreach registered nurse, basically. She has eyes and ears on people that she sees in the clinic. So that helps us know of people that may need to be part of our community weekly outreach as well. And she's grabbing a hold of it. She rode with Ryan Pavitt, who is community paramedic 43 for Ferndale. She went down there, rode a full day with him. And I want to send her down south to ride with Nicole Picknell down in South County Fire, which is a much larger community paramedic system, and to see what they do, and then try to bring those two experiences together to formulate a plan for this community. But when she's out there, hopefully we'll be able to have her pass out information on fall protection, cooking safety, those things too. So one of the best things that we see, best and worst things, are they're beautiful rugs, but they're as runners in elderly homes. And the number one fall hazard for elderly is a rug on the floor. So we want them to pick up those rugs, and especially with a walker, those types of things. And yeah, because maybe you experienced it as well. Yeah. But those are the outreach programs we're going to be hitting more, especially the CPR and stuff this summer again. But it'll be an ongoing process, very dynamic, and we'll add to it as we go. Yeah.
That's great. What time?
Okay.
4:40.
Okay, I would like to adjourn at 4:40. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.